What would you like the power to do? Bank of America.
So we're so excited to invite on the stage these three gentlemen who have every small and big part in making this happen. So gentlemen, thanks for joining us here tonight. Put your hands together for our panel, huh?
Thank you.
I want to begin by pointing out that there are a few Spartans in this room. Do we have any Spartans in the room? Yes? All right. Me as well. As a Michigan State guy, you know, you're always proud of your alma mater and you find reasons to be proud, but this one is a glaring, beautiful, big green and white, glowing, resounding piece of pride in the partnership that you have with these organizations. I want to ask you, President, what was it like when you first heard about this opportunity to partner up for the future of healthcare, this huge, multi-billion-dollar investment into healthcare in the city of Detroit and the News Center area? How did you all get involved?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for being here with us. Thanks for the question. It's one of the things that attracted me to Michigan State University 2.5 years ago. I'm just about to finish my second full year. This is one of the most important things that we will do at Michigan State, this partnership. When you bring together a great healthcare system like Henry Ford Health with one of America's leading research universities like Michigan State University, that convergence in a great city like Detroit that is really coming back to do great things. It's going to help drive the economy. It's going to help. We're training our students in the Henry Ford healthcare system. Our goal is that they will stay here and be part of this community in the Metro Detroit area when they graduate from medical school and continue to drive research. The new research building's going up, as you know. It's going to be a game changer for Michigan State and for Henry Ford Health. So. Bright future ahead. I couldn't be more excited about the partnership.
Well, we'll dig into what the partnership means for everybody in just a moment here, and specifically for those MSU students and for the university. But Bob, I got to tell you, you talk about an investment like this. I talk to my friends in New York and New Orleans and Chicago. They all know about this, right? This is not just something that is happening in our region. This is kind of the waves of it are being heard and felt all over the country. Why is this so special and important to you?
Well, I've spent an entire career at Henry Ford Health and worked about 19 different jobs along the way in multiple different locations before having the privilege to become CEO. And so I know the magic of the organization and what it provides to communities. And we have had several plans to transform that Henry Ford Hospital campus over time. And when I had a chance to step into CEO, I talked to our board of trustees and said, this can's not getting kicked down the road again, it's time. And our community deserves this, our team workers deserve this. And so we set forth on a very robust plan, and they said, why are you confident that this is the time? And I said, because we have the best partners, and we can make this bigger than just a new hospital tower. We can make this truly elevate health, including economic health, in the city of Detroit. And from that day forward, we never looked back at thinking big, acting big, and delivering big.
And you know what's delivering big right now? The Detroit Pistons. They're doing pretty darn good, aren't they? They're doing great. And it's so exciting to watch the Pistons do what they're doing. And there's such a great metaphor to the city of Detroit and the great Pistons. You talk about talent development, right? You talk about putting points on the board and gaining momentum and speed and moving forward. That's what the Pistons are doing right now, but that's what you're doing with these two partners. And I'm just curious, Arn, everyone who knows Arn Tellem knows, he's a visionary, someone who looks forward, not backwards. But when you were first talked to about this plan, how did you kind of put the pieces together saying, this great Detroit sports franchise would join forces with healthcare?
Let me start by saying 34-11, first place in the East, 6 games ahead of my 2 most despised cities, Boston and New York. Second best record in all of basketball.
Yes.
By the way, Michigan State ranked in the top 10, University of Michigan ranked in the top 10. Michigan is now a basketball state.
It is. We can all get on board with that.
But
You already forgot the
I
question.
forgot the
didn't you?
question.
Well, so my question was, listen, Art and I joke.
I can just drop the mic and leave. That's all.
He's going to say that, but I could have asked him what the weather was today. That would be his answer, because you are enthusiastically and fervently a fan of the work that you're doing. But you're a fan of the work that's being done with these two, and that's what I want to ask you about. Why partner? Why a basketball team or a franchise? Why would you partner up with a healthcare system?
No, for us, when I first got here 10 plus years ago, in my conversations with Tom Goris, it was how do we make a difference in the city and be part of the city and its rebirth. And really, we decided, and really it was through those discussions with Tom, was about the spirit of partnership. We couldn't achieve this without great partners. And really, the most important partnership we have was with Henry Ford Health. If we didn't have that partnership, we wouldn't be in the city of Detroit. Yeah. We wanted to be here not just to play games, but to be really part of the city. And to make that, to create that partnership where we came down, built our headquarters in New Center on their campus, I think we shared the same goals and vision of making a difference in this community and being civic-minded first. We wanted to win games, obviously, but it really was about being civic-minded and participating in the city's well-being. And Henry Ford had that same vision, and they talked about their future plans, and it was just a match. We were both aligned, and that really is the key to a partnership. And it's been fantastic. So we came down, we built our headquarters, and we're part of this next phase, which we're honored to participate. And it's really just riding along with Bob, and we're thrilled that Michigan State is part of it, another great institution. And really, when you bring great institutions together like this, like a university, a major healthcare system, and a professional sports team that are anchor institutions in this great city, great things will happen. Ripple effects will happen, and it's going to catalyze future development in this area.
But Arn, to kind of pull the curtain back for us, we see and hear about meetings that take place between top executives like yourselves, and there's got to be like a watershed moment where you said, you know what? There's no way in hell we can't be a part of this. What was that moment for you?
It was really when I met with Henry Ford, with Wright and Bob, and they showed me the plans for what they wanted to achieve in the second phase after we already had built our headquarters there. And I saw this vision of a future hospital, a new hospital, a research center, and I said, we're all in on this. We're a partner with yours. We're going to continue to grow with you. And I saw the opportunity. What Bob was talking about was creating a place where he could live, work, and play, and it was creating the density together that would attract young people and other people to move into this area and work, and just having the research center there is going to be close to 1,000 new jobs of scientists, doctors, engineers, and I just saw the potential for growth, and we wanted to be part of it.
Well, Bob, I want to, for those out there, four of us just rode in on an elevator, literally coming down here, and I actually thought to myself, what's the elevator pitch to our audience about what this is? And we were in the elevator for about 40 seconds. So give us about a minute elevator pitch for those who aren't familiar at all with this future and this collaboration. What does that look like? What does it really mean?
I will. I'll start off, though, by Roop asked me, what would be a great outcome for this session? And I said, someone standing up and saying, I'm writing a $50 million philanthropic gift for you for Henry Ford. So, open up your minds, your hearts, and your wallets. But no, in all seriousness, the elevator pitch is that this is not about modernizing a hospital. This is about elevating the health of a community. And in order to do that, you have to take a very holistic view. And so that means housing, multi-income housing, where people can walk and access all the things they need to live a healthy life. It means park space that encourages broader communities to get out and enjoy. And we're determined to organize and design our park space and our outdoor space for 12 months a year. We're going to have a lot of activities that encourage activities throughout the winter. I have this pet peeve about parks that are designed for 3 months out of 12 versus 12 months out of 12. And so that's a big part of it. The education and research component brings hope, discovery, innovation. It brings lots of professionals to the area. And there's a prototype of researchers. They like to live, work, and play in a close proximity. So that creates a multiplier. And then for our team members, it allows them to take their amazing clinical expertise and use the most contemporary facilities in the world. And for our obligation to environmental health, we're going to have this campus be the first or second all-electric carbon-free campus in the country. And I am incredibly proud of that because that is living into our values of the health of a community. So it's a very holistic view.
Unpack that for us, Bob. When you say the carbon-free part, kind of describe what you mean by that.
So healthcare and hospitals, because of the nature of our work, have not been the best environmental stewards through the years, and there's just a lot of reasons for it. It's not bad intent. And so we looked worldwide at what health systems are doing to modernize their facilities in a way that relies less on fossil fuel and more on electric. And working with DT and others, we've got a energy center going up that you'd look at and think, wow, this is huge, but it's going to be a game changer. And environmental issues are important to our team members because they're dedicated to health. And so again, this kind of comes together. And the last thing I would mention about this project is big dreams are a lot more contagious than small dreams. And so if you start with something really big that's relevant, that everyone can see themselves in some way, shape, or form, we have so many now partners. There's been already $100 million of private investment in the areas and communities around where we're building, and that's at the very beginning phases. So this is going to be something special when it's done.
Redefining the future, Kevin, as you know, obviously means thinking of things differently than we have in the past. The reason that you are a new leader at Michigan State, you have new challenges. Higher education is under a huge magnifying glass. Whether you like it or not, politics is a part of it. And with that magnifying glass comes new responsibilities. Did this have something to do with kind of redefining the future of how educational institutions operate in the communities they serve?
It did, and one of the things that we did recently over the summer months into the early part of the fall was to redefine our goals at Michigan State. We took a strategic plan that was built out about 4 years ago called MSU 2030 and reimagined it, and with the top headline being, and we call this our green print for next, green print for next. And it's a roadmap for us over the next 5 to 7 years. And the top headline in that is about talent attraction and activation for Michigan and beyond. And that's what this campus, this Henry Ford MSU campus, is going to do here in Detroit. It's going to help us attract talent, activate talent, and I think, Roop, to put it in your words, I mean, we're under the microscope. The confidence, if you look at the Gallup polls for higher education, the general public's losing confidence nationwide. We've got to define what it is we want to be great at, what we want the world to turn to Michigan State University, our commitment to healthcare and producing the very best healthcare providers. The Green and White Council that we just developed back and launched in April is getting out with 18 business leaders across the state, helping to better understand what are the workforce needs of today and tomorrow that didn't exist even 5 years ago, that's helping us to think about curriculum changes, to help us think about how we can better prepare physicians, nurses, healthcare providers for the future. We're lucky to have partners like Henry Ford, Corewell Health in the western part of the state. We want to be that bridge in mid-Michigan that links these opportunities for talent activation and then to attract more talent to the region, to the state of Michigan, help drive the economy.
I want to ask you all three a question about two words that I feel like are interchangeable, but they're not. Talent retention and talent development. And those are two different things. And we often talk about when you're bleeding, you got to stop the bleeding, right? 2008, 2009, people are leaving the state, we got to bring them back. I had Hillary Doe on our newscast last night talking about how for the first time ever, they saw 28,000 additional citizens of Michigan move into this state in the last year. That's incredible. But when we talk about talent development, talk about how this initiative, this project would work. And you know what, I'm going to go ahead and go on that side and come down the line here with Arn. Talent development and keeping that here because of the quality of life and the things that are here.
Well, I think having great institutions in the city that are succeeding is going to be a real draw for young people to come here and work, and also attract national talent. Yeah. So we have great students coming out of Michigan State and Michigan and all the other great universities in the school, and when they see opportunity and great places to live, they're going to naturally be attracted to it. So, and really, healthcare to me is one of the key cornerstones of retaining talent, because it attracts doctors, scientists, engineers, healthcare workers, nurses. It provides so many opportunities. And so we're going to create, between Henry Ford and Michigan State, they're going to create real job opportunities. And people are looking to work in a city where they can live, work, and play, and have the density where they have all these other attractions. And what sports does is, I think we're a source of employment. Between the Pistons, the WNBA team that's coming, young people want to have those opportunities to work in professional sports. You don't have to just be an athlete, but we're all about developing, and it's an exciting place for young people to work. And we're looking for a lot of trained engineers, people and in analytics, young business people, salespeople, and having relationships with Michigan State is only going to add to that funnel of young people coming to work. And what we're creating, I've seen it work in every other city that when I travel to, is when you put a major healthcare provider, nationally known, world-renowned, like Henry Ford, and creating this type of campus, along with Michigan State and having a professional sports team together, it is going to create incredible energy in this area that's going to draw people to live, work, and really have all the benefits that they're looking for in an urban environment, and create some density that we need. And I think New Center will become a really attractive place, and it's going to have ripple effects throughout this area. And that's what we need. We need to keep our young talent here, personally. And when you start with the universities that we have, to me, having great institutions like Henry Ford in the heart of the city that's growing and expanding, and it's not just doctors, it's biotech, it's all the areas that are associated with medicine, that grow from medicine. And I've seen it work in my hometown of Philadelphia, which is my whole framework of how I look at things. If you look at what's happened because of University of Pennsylvania and the University of Pennsylvania Hospital, and then with Drexel University, West Philadelphia has been transformed. And I believe that's what's going to happen here. So it's an exciting opportunity to be part of. And I think the sports team provides a little more attention, glitz, and
especially when they're doing well.
Especially when we're doing well. We couldn't have timed it better. But I think it's a great opportunity for the city of Detroit. And it really, I think New Center in particular is really going to extend this and be a catalyst for this whole area of continued development in Detroit.
So talent development, talent retention. So you're going to do both with this great project, right, Bob?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about talent, and talent's all about culture.
Yeah.
And so, you've got to commit to creating the culture that not only has worked for generations like ourselves, but for the incoming generations, which have different experiences, different wants, and different needs. And so you have to be constantly evolving what talent looks like. Even the words that are used to describe talent matter. And we've got to make sure that we don't have a description that is frozen in time. It doesn't reflect the contemporary roles that are out there in all of our, enterprises. And so I think the more that we can have conversations, it always struck me when people would say, oh, the auto industry, that's an old industry. I want to be out in Silicon Valley where IT is. Well, autos are technology on wheels. So we've got to make sure that we're bridging that language gap between kind of old school definitions and modern definitions. And I think we're beginning to do that. I think the second thing we've got to do is talk about the fact that Detroit's big enough, the Detroit region is big enough to have a lot of opportunities, but it's small enough to have line of sight and to create relationships and create a brand in the market for yourself as a professional that can have staying power and can allow you to advance. And I think it's around the right size, market for that. And then thirdly, to Arn's point, talent is attracted to winning. And so we have to keep focus on winning as a region and thinking of that in winning, because people may not use that word, but that's where talent goes, where they perceive victory is being played out.
You know, and you think about young people and the language. I think that's such an important point, Bob, that you bring up. And what a great guy to be talking to, but someone who's the president of a university. Things change, and if we don't change with it, we go extinct. And as a community, as a society, as people. So when you look at young people today who are in their 20s, you know, for years, when I was at Michigan State, when people left, they went to Chicago. They graduated from MSU, they went to Chicago, they went to Arizona, they went anywhere, and they didn't really stay here as much as they should have. Are things changing, and how does a project like this transform that journey?
Yeah, I think we have a responsibility to train the future leaders here in Michigan. I'm proud that Michigan State University brings in, admits more Michiganders, enrolls more Michiganders every year than any other university in the country. Also proud. Yeah. This one maybe is even more important. 65% of our graduates at Michigan State start their careers in the state of Michigan. And there's not another university that can make that claim. That's important to us. So I think this goes back to what Bob and Arn said earlier. It's about creating an environment, a culture where people want to live, work, and play. You know, we're a sport-crazed society. One of the beautiful things about Detroit is we got 4 great professional teams here. We're building out the opportunities. I don't know, Arn, how public it is, but we've talked about the possibility of this youth sports development academy. Michigan State wants to be part of that. That will draw talent and retain talent in the Metro Detroit area if people want to bring their families here. Let me say one more thing. We've got to do a better job in our school systems, K through 12. We have a great college of education at Michigan State University, and I am challenging our deans there and faculty that we've got to up our game. We've got to play a role in making sure that we are climbing in the right direction on outcomes for K through 12, because families that want to move to Michigan, want to move to the Metro Detroit area, they look at that. That's one of the first things they look at in terms of where we want to relocate to and be a part of this community. So we have an important role to play there in creating this place where people want to live, work, and play, and we're up for the task.
Arn?
Yeah, I think one important point that I think we need to stress is by us coming together, retaining talent. We have so much talent in this state and at our great universities like Michigan State. And if we can just hold on to our talent, and to do that, we're showing them we have opportunities here. You don't have to go to Chicago, you don't have to go to New York, you don't have to go to LA. Opportunity you don't want to be a big fish in a small pond. You don't want to be a small fish in a huge ocean. And that's the opportunity. And you can succeed and get on your career track better here by working at Henry Ford Health, coming to work at the research center, working in the auto industry, and get valuable skills at law firms and other institutions that are in Detroit. And that gives you a platform to advance your career much further. That's what I think is really essential. And that's what we have to sell students at Michigan State, at University of Michigan, and all of our other universities. When you have the talent here, we have them here. Let's hold on to them. Let's not let them leave. Let's show them that the opportunities are here and you can advance your career faster and better than you can elsewhere. And I know that's true.
Bob, you know that's true as well, right?
I do, and I think that while the 3 of us are up here representing the 3 primary enterprises in this initiative, I think that this is about partnerships within partnerships. And what we're hoping to do is to create everyone kind of thinking and using that same language in terms of what's our elevator story for why this region is the place to start your career. And DTE is doing some phenomenal things. Rocket is doing some phenomenal work. Wayne State University, we partner with on a lot of development because they also are a destination for what can lead to urban living and urban business creation. So, it's not about picking 3 partners and then putting up walls. It's about leading the way and welcoming others into something that can become a movement and a continued movement around what has been started really way back to the Ilitch family and certainly the Gilbert family about saying that we can be the best version of ourselves as a city and as a region moving forward.
We should also mention, we'd be remiss if we didn't, while sitting in this beautiful, beautiful vestige of this building that is making history in Detroit, that it is the Gilbert family that has contributed, and the Ilitch family and so many others, so much. But the Gilbert family, specifically, I'm so touched by learning that part of the research facility is going to address the very thing, the very disease that took Nick away from this great, from this world. But his memory will continue through the research that's being done to help to make sure that never happens again, right?
That's right. As you may know, Nick passed away from neurofibromatosis, a relatively rare type of cancer. And the Gilbert family is committed to making sure that, as I mentioned earlier, the world will turn to Detroit and to Henry Ford Health and MSU to better understand, to solve, and eventually try to cure this rare disease that Nick passed from. It'll take an entire floor of our new research building, which, by the way, will be the largest research facility that Michigan State University has on any of its campuses. Will be right here, and will open in 2027. It'll be a game changer. It's not just neurofibromatosis that we'll be solving and curing, but there will be cancer researchers there, neuroscientists, and we're in the recruitment process right now. But we'll house 80 different principal investigators there, and over 500 researchers in that facility on this campus that we're excited about. It's right there alongside the Henry Ford Health Care System and our beloved Detroit Pistons.
The truth is, we've been doing research for the last 3 years of what would get the Detroit Pistons to be a winning team, and look what's happened. So, I mean, we've got some really cool things going on.
This research is incredible. It's doing amazing things. Continued success for the research and for the Pistons. Hey, listen, we have about 5 minutes left in this segment, and I want to end by taking us back to not necessarily a dark moment in Detroit, but I grew up in Troy. This is my home, and coming back in 2009, it was hard to see the things that were happening here. GM and at the time Chrysler going under, the city of Detroit with its bankruptcy. And then years later, there was a glimpse of hope when Amazon said, we're considering, and some people say they weren't truly considering Detroit, but the bottom line is our name was in the circles. And I remember very specifically thinking to myself, when Amazon rejected Detroit, if they were considering it in the first place, that is a blueprint for our future. That is a sign when you fail to say, what is it that we can do better next time? I feel like next time is now. And I feel like this project is the bedrock of that next time. And so in the 4.5 minutes we have left, 1.5 minutes each, talk about the future. Leave us with the feeling that we should be walking out of here with about the project that we're working on. How is this going to look and feel for all of us? Arn.
Well, I think you can't be a world-class city, which we aspire to be, without world-class healthcare. And Henry Ford Health is becoming a world-class healthcare. It's going to be a major destination, not just for the city, but for the region, nationally and internationally. And I think having that anchor institution like that changes everything. And having Michigan State, having our universities, our national universities like Michigan State, along with Wayne State and University of Michigan, committing to the city of Detroit is going to change the city's trajectory for years to come. And it's going to make it more attractive for students to go to these schools because they want to have an urban environment. They want to have that option. And it's going to help them also see the possibilities of working here and what it's like here. And so I think Michigan State's commitment is huge, as is the University of Michigan. And we already have a great city university in Wayne State. Having them all here is going to have tremendous impact on this. And for us, obviously, Detroit is a major sports town. It's a major arts and cultural center. And all that together, when you factor in, and you were so right to point out, when you think about Dan Gilbert and the Ilitches and the auto industry, all the things that we have here between great businesses, institutions, arts, culture, professional sports, this is a major world-class city whose future is great. And that's what we should be celebrating. We're on our way. Just like the Pistons, it took us 10 years since I got here to have a team that's now a contender. It takes patience, commitment, endurance, perseverance. That's what Detroit is all about. That's what we're all here for. And that's what we're bringing, and better days are yet to come. And it's been a team effort by everybody, Dan Gilbert, everybody. And we're committed to doing our part. Tom Gores is, I am, and our organization is, just along with Bob Riney. And we have great partners, and that's the key. Doing it together makes our impact much greater. That's what I see.
I'd run through a wall for you, my man. That was a great speech. Great elevator speech. That was very cool. All right, game on. Here we go. Take us to the future and give us some dates about completion as well, Bob.
Yeah, so 2027, the new research center with Michigan State and Henry Ford and Nick Gilbert Neurofibromatosis Research Institute will open up. The hospital itself will open up in 2029. The housing is going to start, you'll start seeing infill in 2027. So between now and 2029, you're going to see really all of this coming together in fruition. I think for me, what I hope by 2030 is that, first of all, communities feel like their access and their partnership in health has been increased. That's really important at the end of the day. That's what we're here for, to elevate communities. I also think they feel their economic vitality has improved because there is more access to good jobs that are within a reasonable proximity of where they live. I think for the region itself, our world stage, which is getting brighter and brighter and brighter, will have a new shining star to talk about. And that companies that are looking to expand within the country and within the world will say, we got to check out Detroit.
Kevin.
I'll echo everything that Bob and Arn have already said. I'll just add one more piece: innovation. If you think about what Detroit meant to the nation back in the early 1900s, it was about innovation of an industry, and we're going to talk about innovations across the spectrum, but it's going to certainly be within healthcare, with making this place, taking that research, putting it to practice, such that the world turns to Detroit. And the state of Michigan around innovations in medical technology, curing diseases, and that's what we're committed to. And don't forget about things like the Apple Developer Academy that it's going to have more of a health focus. We started that alongside Apple just down the road here, and 5 years ago, and that's going to be expanded more into the healthcare area. So innovation will be the future.
Well, the future is looking bright in a city that we can live, work, and play in, thanks in part to the three guys who are sitting on this stage and all the people they represent. So put your hands together for Arn, for Bob, for Kevin.